DeAndre, a game that took nearly 3 hours, came down to the final second. What did this one take from you guys?
Togetherness, not getting deflated by, the environment and the concept they was throwing at us. Calls wasn't going our way, but, we stayed together. And, that's the main thing, being in tough games and games not going your way, especially when you're at home, is just, you just got to come together and just really stay solid. And after JJ and the staff just been pushing us. Regardless who's out there, they've been doing it since I got here, from training camp, from the months I've been in the summer in the gym. He's been the same guy. And, he's just been every day just drilling it in our heads, having that championship mentality, championship shape, championship communication. And, that's our motto, and that's what we've been going by, and it's super contagious. The guys who are out, they work their way up to come back and play, come in the lineup, and it's like they never left.
When you guys are not shooting it great as a collective, how much confidence does it give you that you can basically win the game on the defensive end?
It gives a lot of confidence because we're not really dependent on our offense. JJ really wants us to have our defense, create our offense, and that's what you see in glimpses of us, in Spurs having our runs and, getting stops and, crowd getting into it. That really gave us that boost as well.
I had a shoot around this morning. You said you didn't really want to overemphasize any game other than the other, right? But clearly, pregame, you had some pep in your step, and the building was feeling it.
I wasn't paying attention. That's every game. I'd be dancing and all of that.
Okay, well, how about this then? The building was here to celebrate the Dodgers. You guys get to end a homestand before you go on a long road trip. All those factors considered, how does this feel for a group win to get this? You're 7-2 to start the season.
I ain't gonna lie. Seeing the Dodgers, the champions, walk in here, they put a little pressure on me. I was a little nervous. I was like, dang, just actually seeing them in person. I've been watching them through a glass, all season. But yeah, it was definitely some pressure, and the crowd was into it. So it was definitely something to put on for the fans, and leave them home happy.
Eventually, pull it out. Just our resilience.
LeBron James' relentless work ethic. The way LeBron James cares for his body, maintaining peak performance into his 22nd NBA season, has become almost mythical. Stories about his off-court investment in training and recovery have circulated for years, but the results speak for themselves. LeBron remains an all-NBA performer, still setting new standards of longevity, now preparing to become the first player ever to reach a 23rd NBA season. For Stephen Curry, that legend was something he had only heard about, until the summer of 2024. Curry and LeBron share one of basketball's greatest rivalries. From their 4 consecutive NBA Finals clashes between 2015 and 2018 to countless playoff duels since, their battles have helped define an era. But it wasn't until they became teammates on Team USA during the Paris Olympics, leading the United States to gold, that Curry got to witness LeBron's process up close. Speaking on the Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash, Curry described what it was like to finally share a locker room with a Lakers superstar, and to see firsthand what separates LeBron from almost everyone else in the sport. "We've always motivated each other," Curry said. "But last summer, during the Olympic run, we finally got to share the same locker room. I'd always heard about his work ethic, the time, the discipline, how he treats his body, but when you actually see it, it's different. Nobody could beat him to the gym in the morning. There's an energy there, like everyone just understands. This is what greatness looks like. We didn't even have to talk about it. It was unspoken. I learned right away not to take anything for granted. There's no accident in being who you are, not with that kind of dedication. It taught me to keep finding ways to be the best version of myself." Coming from Curry, a player whose own career has been built on discipline and persistence, overcoming early ankle injuries to become one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, that kind of praise carries real weight. It's a testament to LeBron's relentless preparation and how it continues to inspire even his fiercest competitors. As LeBron works toward another return from rest and minor ailments, the Lakers know one thing for certain: he's putting in the hours, the same way he always has. JJ Redick sees grit and growth in the Lakers' new identity. While LeBron remains sidelined, JJ Redick's Lakers have shown surprising resilience. Monday night's 123-115 victory over the Portland Trail Blazers was the kind of win that reveals a team's character, and it came under unlikely circumstances. Without LeBron James, Luka Doncic, or Austin Reeves, the Lakers' backcourt was reduced to Nick Smith Jr., Marcus Smart, and Bronny James Jr., a lineup many saw as too thin to compete. But the group defied expectations. Smith came off the bench for 25 points and 6 assists, shooting 10 of 15 from the field and 5 of 6 from 3. Rui Hachimura added 28 points, while DeAndre Ayton anchored the team with 29 points and 10 rebounds, guiding Los Angeles to a statement win. The victory improved the Lakers to 6-2, despite missing 2 of their biggest stars in half of their games. It's the kind of toughness and collective belief the franchise has been searching for since its 2020 championship run. That's what I love about this group, Redick said afterward. They don't make excuses. They compete. They trust each other. That's what being a Laker is supposed to mean. It's clear that Redick's influence, emphasizing accountability, communication, and pace, is resonating with his players. Even in early November, this version of the Lakers already looks more connected and purposeful than in recent seasons. For Curry, LeBron, and their generation of NBA icons, moments like these, of respect, resilience, and leadership, serve as reminders that greatness isn't just about highlights or stats. It's about the habits that sustain you when the spotlight fades and the work begins again. And in that respect, both Curry and LeBron continue to set the gold standard. A rivalry that evolved into respect. For years, Stephen Curry and LeBron James defined the NBA's landscape through competition. Their clashes, from the 2015 finals to the iconic 2016 series, were more than basketball. They were cultural events that shaped a generation of fans. But what was once a fierce rivalry has matured into something far more meaningful. Both players, now in the twilight of their primes, understand what it takes to sustain excellence over time. They've carried franchises, endured injuries, faced criticism, and rewritten what it means to lead in the modern era. What Curry saw during that Olympic run in Paris wasn't just LeBron's routine. It was a glimpse into the mindset of someone who refuses to fade, no matter the odds. You see the sacrifice, Curry explained. People talk about talent, but it's not that. It's the discipline, the recovery sessions, the nutrition, the film work, the way he treats every day like it matters. That's what separates the great ones from the rest. That respect runs both ways. LeBron has often praised Curry for changing basketball itself, for redefining spacing, pace, and the art of shooting. During the Olympics, those mutual sentiments reportedly strengthened as the two veterans led a younger Team USA roster by example, demonstrating the professionalism and selflessness that have marked their careers. LeBron and Steph showed everyone how to prepare, how to talk, how to carry themselves, one Team USA staff member told reporters after the games. It wasn't about ego. It was about setting a standard. Lessons for the next generation. In an NBA increasingly dominated by youth and athleticism, both stars have become living examples of longevity through intelligence and consistency. Their rivalry may have once symbolized two competing philosophies, power versus precision, but today it reflects a shared truth. Greatness is sustained by discipline, not just talent. Young players across the league have taken notice. Coaches often point to LeBron's and Curry's work habits as teaching tools, evidence that true professionalism transcends age. Players like Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton have all cited watching veterans like Curry and LeBron as motivation for improving their own preparation. What those guys do off the court is what people don't see, Edwards said recently. That's what I'm trying to learn, how to make this a long career, not just a good one. For the Lakers, LeBron's influence continues to shape the team's culture, even when he isn't on the floor. For the Warriors, Curry's leadership remains their compass through transitions and challenges. Both franchises understand that maintaining a standard of excellence begins with how their stars approach the smallest details, from film study to the first warm-up shot of the day. The legacy of leadership. Curry's public admiration for LeBron marks more than just mutual respect. It's a recognition of shared purpose. After nearly 2 decades of defining their era through rivalry, they now stand as co-architects of what modern leadership in sports looks like: mentorship through example, competition without animosity, and dedication without compromise. As the NBA moves toward its next generation of stars, the lessons from Curry and LeBron may prove to be their most lasting contribution. They've shown that greatness is not only measured in championships or MVPs, but in the quiet daily commitment to mastery, the willingness to prepare when no one is watching. At this stage, Curry reflected, it's about passing on what we've learned. You don't hold back what made you great, you share it. Because that's how the game keeps growing. Looking ahead. With LeBron expected to return to action soon and Curry continuing to lead a retooled Warriors team, the next time they meet on the court will likely carry a different tone. Less about rivalry, more about legacy. Both men are aware that time is catching up. But as their careers continue to intersect, what stands out most is not the competition, but the connection. Two players who have pushed each other to evolve, to endure, and to inspire. And in the end, perhaps that is their greatest victory.